You're listening to Three's a Crowd, the North East Footy Podcast, with Rye for Boro, Steve for Newcastle United, and Ted for Sunderland.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. What an early time it is for Three's a Crowd. We are here on time, all prompt, all ready to go. Ted was a little bit late, though. I do apologise. That's why we couldn't kick off around 8 a.m. And I hope you're all fantastic, safe and well. I hope you've all had a fantastic week. We are about to look back at Sunderland, Newcastle and Middlesbrough. Look forward to the three games that we've got coming up as well. I'm going to talk about, obviously, the Champions League exit for Newcastle, what that means, and how we are going to move forward for Middlesbrough after a sad draw against Bristol City. And obviously, the Mackems now starting to rack up the injuries as they rock into this massive derby. We've only got a short show for you again today. We do apologise, 45 minutes. We have to get the lads off. But tell you what, this is the biggest show, and it always feels like a big one before the derby, lads. And I cannot stress enough, obviously, how much I'm looking forward to, as a neutral, not having to be on either side of the cauldron, because it's just going to be a big one. Ted, I'm going to come to you first. Good morning to you, good sir, mate. How are you feeling on the eve of the second derby in the Premier League?
Yeah, it's. I'm never looking forward to it. The nerves are starting to kick in a little bit now, to be honest with you. I know Steve will say that form goes out the window on a derby. I sincerely hope so, because ours has been absolutely awful. Not even playing well to get results as well, which is a bit of a worry. So yeah, I'm looking at this one with intrepidation. I am going to be in the UK for it. Yeah. And just to compound my misery, I'm going to be watching it with Dr. Mick and his family. And I'm going to be the only Mackem there, which is going to be just amazing. But yeah, a good chance to go over. I'm just making my plans to meet up with Stevie Boy then and have a bit of a catch up with him and a light luncheon, maybe a glass of Sauvignon Blanc. Yeah, and looking forward to seeing my family, mate. Paul, my brother-in-law, is watching the show, watches every week. Wasn't well last week, lads. He's been in and out of hospital, so we're wishing him all the best now. He's going to get a big man hug, and hopefully something to cheer him up on Sunday as well.
No, big shout out to you, mate, and hope you feel better very, very soon. Steve, over to you, mate. Massive week, mate. You haven't really been able to focus on the derby until probably good 48 hours ago, if that. But all focus now on towards the derby, and we hope you're well.
Yeah, all good, mate. Fantastic trip to Barcelona. What a place. And well done to all the Newcastle United fans who, basically flew the flag for the Northeast with, pride. It was a great opportunity to visit, what is going to be one of the biggest stadiums in the world, 105,000, certainly going to be the biggest in Europe. And for me, it was just an all-round great experience. And for the first half, Newcastle United really did show their own. The game at St James's Park, of course, and then the subsequent first half at Barcelona. But it was men against boys in the second half, and Newcastle was stunned by the excellence of Barcelona. There's nothing you can say about it, and it's all about levels when you're playing in those kind of competitions. And unfortunately for Newcastle United, they just didn't recover from losing Tonali. The penalty just before half time killed us, and then subsequently the loss of Tonali really did change things massively. I do want to push something in the chat this morning, and it's really just the case of a Newcastle United fan called Kieran Gray, a big Newcastle fan who goes home and away, and unfortunately sometimes these things happen when you're abroad. He suffered a serious fall, caused him severe head injuries, and he's now in critical condition in a hospital in Barcelona. He thought he had travel insurance through his bank, but sadly it's come to light that he's not covered. So as a result, his family are now facing extremely high medical costs of around £1,300 a day, alongside additional charges for essential scans and treatment. So with no clear timeline for his recovery, the financial pressure is immense. We have a link. I'm going to stick it in the chat now. So we pushed this out last night on our podcast when and the funds were at 1,300. And as I've said, it's 1,300 a day. I'm delighted to say the Newcastle United community so far have come in with so many donations, and the current amount on the raising page is 14,000. So well done to everybody who's already chipped in. But if we can have a little help from the Northeast football community as well, that would be greatly appreciated, because you know, I don't know the lad personally, but he's a Newcastle United fan and he needs help, and that'll do for me. So I've posted the link in the chat on NUFC Matters, so you might have to jump onto my stream briefly to get that if you're following Rai or Ted, but I'll pin it to the top again just so you can donate some money. But well done everybody who's donated so far.
Well, chat, I mean, massive thoughts and prayers with that lad, and what a turn of events when you're just following the team that you love, and it turns into an event like that, and everybody in his family and that would be affected. And if you can support, please check out the link. And if you don't know, if you can't seem to get the link in here in the chat, you can go to NUFC Matters on X, or find Steve in his socials, DM him, and I'm sure he'll be able to help you out as well. And thoughts and prayers go out to the lad as well. We hope for a quick and speedy recovery. Steve just touched on it there, Teddy boy, but I just wanted to get your quick thoughts, mate. Newcastle did bail out of the Champions League round of 16, leg 2 of 2, going to Barcelona seemed to be a little bit too tough. The first half, after the 45 minutes, I thought, well, Newcastle could be right in this, but the second half proving that the Spanish Giants would continue and Newcastle would bow out.
We were just chatting, man, we were waiting for you to eventually show up.
You were late, Ted.
I was not. No, I was chatting to Steve about it, and to be honest, obviously I write on the page on Facebook as well, and we were deeply concerned about how good Newcastle were going forward for the first 35 to 40 minutes. Given the form that we're in, given the defensive frailties and the injuries that we've got at this moment in time, looking at the way Newcastle went about their forward line, I was seriously impressed. And it would have to be a very, very die-hard, red and white through and through to even ignore that. They were excellent. I thought that real attack and guile that took the game to one of the world's best clubs. I think if it hadn't have been for the penalty, look, I'm still not convinced that was the right decision. When you see the ball, the angle that the ball's going across and the pace it's going across, I just wonder if he was going to get there at all. But he's given him a decision to make, and given VAR decision to make, which he did hold him back. Whether it's impeded to the extent that I thought it was, it's all done now, I guess. But at that time, up to that penalty, what a game of football it was, and that felt to me like watching the Champions League as it was on ITV many years ago, and kind of watching two good teams going at it together. It was excellent. What I guess what I was kind of wanting to say as well is, for that first 35, 40 minutes, that was like Keegan's entertainers going forward. Oh, the thing was, some of the stuff that happened in the second half, the defender liked them as well. And there's a couple of things where, simple things, Steve, as well, where I thought, like the Lewandowski header, where I thought Livramento's on him, but you've got Big Dan Burn kind of stood off. You kind of think that looks like square pegs and round holes. Everybody knows what a threat Lewandowski is. He's one of the best strikers in the world, still at that age. The likes of Juventus are queuing up to try and get him for next season. He's still in demand at the age he is, and he's clearly got the talent. I just thought there was a couple of things where maybe the Newcastle fans were scratching their heads a little bit as a neutral watch, right? Not that neutral. more red and blue than I was black and white, let's be honest. But I just thought there was a couple of moments that was maybe a little bit head scratchy. No disrespect, Newcastle, they give it everything, but Barcelona just absolutely, they just seem to go into second gear and still not hit the absolute dizzy heights that they can. For me, man of the match, Pedri. Pedri was just... you can't sanction for players like that who can find passes the way he does. He just sees the game in a completely different way to other players. So some of the passes he was finding players with, look, it wasn't about Newcastle being bad or anything like that. It was about Barcelona players really stepping up to that mantle that we all know that they're capable of. But yeah, listen, it's given us plenty to think about ahead of the game. We are going to have to nullify a threat because they are starting to find their feet up front, without a shadow of a doubt. They're capable of scoring goals. Elanga now seems to be hitting the form that everybody thought he was capable of. You know, that last season in Nottingham Forest, he was electric. He's starting to hit that again now. And, you know, unless we give a very, very disciplined account of ourselves at the back, we're in trouble.
Do you honestly believe, I mean, the first derby, obviously, let's move on quickly to the derby. The first derby, I think, going in, there was a little bit of confidence in Sunderland's sort of ranks. I believe because of the start you'd had, the change of the personnel on the ranks, there was confidence going into that game. And I know we were talking about it and laughing about it, but I think there was a real skepticism from Newcastle fans and a real, oh my God, Sunderland could actually do this, you know, even though they came up, and obviously they did. But I feel like that is completely now flipped on the head. Even given, you know, the midweek Champions League result for Newcastle United, I feel like, given the run of results that Sunderland have had, pairing what you had at the end of last season as well, plus the injuries which are just mounting up, I feel like there's a real concern that, you know. But do you take any solace in the fact that it's already 1-0 in terms of the best out of two, you could say?
No, not at all, mate. I think you're right to say that. I think, you know, albeit we probably wouldn't care to admit it at the time, there probably was a little bit of confidence going into that derby, especially with it being a home one as well.
Yeah,
you fancy it at that stage. You know, things were going well. We were unbeaten at home. That was all looking great. Like you say, we had a full squad to choose from as well, which was also a huge thing for us. That being said, I think there might be a bit of a surprise in the squad tomorrow. Regis Labrise is playing it very, very close to his chest.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so I think we might just have some players in there that we perhaps weren't expecting. But yeah, let's see about that. Going into this game, look, I'm all for postponing it. We're not in good form.
I want to put that on form.
The injuries are mounting up, and Newcastle are playing well. And with it being the home leg for them, yeah, I think we're expecting a tough time of it tomorrow, mate.
Steve, I'll throw that question to you, mate. Do you feel, I mean, going back onto that first, obviously, derby, going to this second one, is there any renewed optimism? Is there a level of confidence, even though coming off the back of that defeat with the Champions League? But I feel like going into this, just sitting back as a neutral, there's more optimism and confidence in the Newcastle camp than there was in the first one.
Yeah, I mean, our league form, has improved massively, and there are players who, have struggled to find any kind of consistency throughout the season who are now finding that level of consistency, and that's the key. The atmosphere is a reverse for Sunderland on this occasion. There'll be a venom, as I'm sure Ted knows from being at the stadium many times, and the key really to any derby is to nullify the crowd. Really, for starters, if you can get the crowd on the home team's back and grumbling, that's when things can change. But Newcastle's fans need to turn up, despite the Barcelona hangover, and they really need to be behind the team from the off. The key for Eddie Howe is not to worry about the previous result. I was there. You guys saw it. That game really could have been played till midnight. Nobody should have won it, but it was a moment of madness by Voldemort, and that's there in the history book. Sunderland won 1-0, but Newcastle are a bit more potent up front than they were back then, and I genuinely think we've got a chance of not only winning the game tomorrow, but winning it comfortably. And Ted's right to be worried with regards to Newcastle scoring goals. I don't worry about whether Dan Ballard's fit or not. I don't worry about whether Lafay's fit or not. It's not really about Sunderland for us. It's about Newcastle United performing, and I do think we can. I think the there will be an embarrassment, I think, within the squad, professional embarrassment for, not, conceding 7 goals on the biggest stage in the world. They'll be hurting after that. But they will also, I'm sure, use the motivation from losing at the Stadium of Light. And the team, we've seen it already in flashes in the last couple of weeks. They will feel as if they owe the fans one for their wonderful support across Europe and for those 2 results in particular. So I think Newcastle will start off like the proverbial, they will go for it. They will put in that. They will put in that 30, 35 minutes, which we didn't put a minute of that in at the Stadium of Light. And I don't care what the low block is from Sunderland or whatever defensive tactics they use. I'd back Anthony Gordon, Alanga, Barnes to find a gap and to break it down tomorrow. I still think that the derby, and Ted's already said what I always say on the show, and that is the form does go out the window. But if that's the case, we've just been beaten by Barcelona 7-2, so I'll be delighted to see that form go out the window.
Is it a sense, though, Steve? I mean, just I want to talk. I mean, we see this in other sports, and we see this in a lot of modern day. But a loss like that midweek, I know a lot. You can look at it negatively, and you can look at it like you were saying that it was on the main stage and that. But do you get the feeling? Or do you sense that it could be also a release of the shackles, if that makes any sense, that the Champions League, like they know that's over. The EFL, they know the FA Cup's over. And I feel like in some way, for some reason, that some professional sportsmen, when they find out that they've got that weight off their shoulders, that, look, we did our best, we couldn't do it, round of 16, that they could come in tomorrow. And it could be like this whole new belief and this new optimism, because there's 8 games to go. They know that now. They know where they stand. They know there's no other cups. This is the focus. And I feel like we've seen it before, where a bad loss like that can actually release some of these Newcastle players into a very, very good form tomorrow.
Yeah, look, like I say, the Barcelona result is a one-off. Yeah, it's a one-off, isn't it? But it's a unique opportunity for us to play in the Champions League, and we've done it. We've got to the last 16 for the first time in our history in a knockout stage, and that game's parked now. Newcastle will be looking ahead to 8 cup finals and to trying to finish in a Europa spot this season. Champions League's not beyond us, but I think the Europa is the key. I think we will. I think Newcastle will play this out as it should be played tomorrow, and then we've got some time off. We've got the international break, we've got FA Cup weekend, and finally we've got a chance to rest a few aching bones. After the derby, the first game after the derby's Crystal Palace away. Fabian Schär, Bruno Guimaraes, and Lewis Miley all return. So we will finally, with the exception of Kraft, whose season's over, have a full squad. So that's dangerous for the Premier League, and it's great news for Newcastle.
8 games to go, exactly now on the head for Middlesbrough, Sunderland and Newcastle. Obviously, we do have an international break. We haven't had one since the start of December last year, but we're going into a World Cup off-season, lads. And look, it's a talking point for us Middlesbrough fans especially. We've got a tough run of games when we come back from the international break. Middlesbrough will go against Millwall. Millwall obviously fighting it out with Ipswich in third. Now, when we come back, we obviously have the 2-week break, and then we play on the Friday night. Can you believe it? Thank you for that, EFL. Now, the problem with this international break is that Middlesbrough, and thanks to their success this season, have got 8 international players leaving for duty. 2 of them, in Riley McGree and Aidan Morris, are travelling to the other side of the world. And they will be playing on the Wednesday before a Friday game back in Middlesbrough. It's going to be absolutely incredible to see these lads travelling all over the place just to get back for this game in time. Lads, 2 weeks obviously off for all 3 of us. We go into a World Cup. This is going to be massive. England named a 35-man squad. If you didn't make the England squad yesterday, just give it up, because every other man got absolutely named in Tuchel's squad.
If Jason Steele's getting in that squad, me and Steve have got a show.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Naming every goalkeeper he could did Tuchel. But look, it's going to be interesting because it's going to be going into a World Cup break. And this is the last time we get to see the lads pretty much. They will have some games, obviously, but that'll be postseason, and that'll be leading into a World Cup, obviously, in the USA. So it's going to be interesting, this one. But I tell you what, Middlesbrough fans, we are reeling, and we need to look at that Millwall game being on a Friday night, because I do think we will be without some of those international players that I just don't think Riley McGree and the likes of Adam Morris will return in time. And it does look like, as well, Hayden Hackney is going to be missing for the next 3 to 4 games with a calf injury. Kim Hellberg yesterday saying that, unfortunately, it looks like Hayden Hackney has gotten a severe injury within that passing manoeuvre he made to Leo Castledean. Obviously, that was the goal scoring. But it doesn't look like we're going to be doing it with Hackney. And hopefully it does come at a good time to give him the 2-week break to get him in recovery and get him back for that Millwall game, which is going to be crucial for Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, obviously looking backwards as well, had a frustrating loss. I'm calling it a loss. It was a draw to Bristol City. It was a 95th minute header with 7 minutes of added on after leading 1-0 to be pegged back at the Riverside. Middlesbrough go to Blackburn today in away, and I cannot wait for Middlesbrough to play away. If we could reschedule every next 8 game for away, I would love it, because when we're at the Riverside, it is a completely different beast compared to where we're away. And Middlesbrough will be looking forward to that, I think. And hopefully, like I was just saying about Newcastle United, you can see that the shackles come off today. Middlesbrough in the early kickoff. Don't forget, Middlesbrough fans. We have then got the derby tomorrow, so we are going to be talking about that a lot in the next 20 minutes or so. We got a short stream for you today. We do apologize, a short one. We got to get the lads off. Ted is actually getting on a plane as well. No snakes on that plane, unfortunately. We've already checked. But we will be getting Teddy Boy over to the homelands, and he's going to be there for the derby. Can you believe it? But lads, it is halfway point, so we have to sit back. We have to have a bit of a giggle, because it's time for Troll of the Week.
Couple of news headlines in, lads. Apprentice chef rushed to hospital after accidentally rubbing herbs into his eyes. A doctor told our reporters he's now partially sighted. And pharmaceutical company announces launch of expensive laxative. Critics say compared to cheaper varieties, this one will certainly give you a run for your money, which is great news for people out there. Let's have some Viz top tips. Imagine you're a teenager again by verbally abusing someone, and then 20 minutes later asking them for a lift somewhere. And they do say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So last year, while visiting the Italian capital, I released a pack of lions into a church and then forced any survivors to fight to the death. And this is great, lads. This is great. We should all have one of these. Stressed out, bad day at work, then play Kick a Celebrity in the Bollocks. It's an interactive video game that's taken the country by storm. Erupt with joy as your least favourite celebs crumple to the ground in agony. Listen to this. Choose a crotch, choose a celebrity, and kick away to your heart's content. Mr. B in Essex said, I got one for Christmas and I've already booted 500 arseholes in the nuts, including Ken of One Direction, the leaders of all major political parties, and half the footballers in the Premiership. And Mr. J Hall also recommends it by saying, I've worn out 6 pairs of boots using mine, and I'm still on Jeffrey Archer. Fun for all the ages, kick a celebrity in the bollocks. Here's a priest after taking my confession. And World Book Day a couple of weeks ago went down well, even with parents, to the chippy and beyond for this young lady.
Wow. Wow.
Want a tram or a trolley? Well, why not take the South Lake Union Trolley in Seattle? Ride the slut. And here's a historical marker I stumbled across, lads, in England. On this exact spot in the afternoon of August the 5th, 2017, a marital dispute was won by the husband. At 12:58, he's told his wife she shouldn't drive the golf cart because she is a horrible driver. 5 minutes later, she accidentally drove the cart into this lake. So there we go. Great stuff. Whilst in the lake, he treated himself to a new pair of Crocs.
Jesus.
And we do like to share photographs of us as kids sometimes, lads. Here's a photo of me and my mum when we used to go running together. Couple of jokes to brighten up everyone's day across the northeast. A slice of pie costs $2.50 in Jamaica, $3.65 in Bermuda, and £3 in the Bahamas. Those are the pirates of the Caribbean, lads. And I was walking down the road this morning, and I first got hit by a violin, then a clarinet, and then a piano. I think it was an orchestrated attack.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
But I've stopped telling jokes, lad, about unemployed people because none of them worked. And this morning I was beaten up by a busty woman in an elevator. I was staring at her boobs when she said, "Would you please press one?" So I did. I don't remember much after that. And my wife and I have started role-playing in the bedroom, lads. Her favourite is Sexy Librarian, where I have to sit quietly while she reads a book. Yes. And when I was little, I didn't care what I wore. I just went along with what my parents chose. But when I look in old photo albums, I realise they didn't care either.
True.
Last joke for this week. First it was alcohol kills COVID, then heat may kill COVID, now direct sunlight may kill COVID. So if you see me outside in my yard, drunk, naked and lying in the sun, mind your own business. I'm conducting important medical experiments.
Correct.
Last few, here's some relegation cake.
I love the fact it's a pink slice.
And I love these Sunderland fans as well. Is hilarious. Absolutely unbelievable. Found Barry Chuckle in London, got him back to the hotel room for beers. There he is, just above the D. And Jason Tyndall found a great new way to find out what Chelsea's team were up to before the match. And we do like to promote Get the Badge in on this show, lads. Here's a new one. Yep. A Stonehenge badge.
Oh,
Jesus.
Get the rocks in.
Absolutely. I don't know what's happened here, lads, but
whoa. Oh no.
John Wick and the Scooby Gang.
Exactly. And the craziest part about the movie Grease, lads, is that they wanted us to believe that this guy was actually in high school. Here's a lookalike for you, lads.
Jesus Christ.
And I always like to test my singing ability on here. And when you're going through Facebook and you find somebody with a name like this, in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. A wimble a wimble a wimble a wimble. That runs its course today, lads. Thanks very much for putting up with my singing, and we'll be more Troll of the Week next week.
Absolute gold as always. Thank you so much for sending them in. Welcome back to Three's a Crowd, the only Northeast football podcast where we bring Sunderland, Middlesbrough and Newcastle together and we have a bit of banter, a bit of laugh, and we look forward and we look backwards at the results. We have got Steve Wraith and Teddy Mackham. Apologies that Steve Wraith has got his camera off. We just didn't want to get Tudor confused with another Arnie Slot lookalike. So we had to make sure Steve Wraith turned his camera off and we got Tudor tuning in. So we just want to make sure.
Necessary.
We just don't want Tudor confusing.
Tackle that right.
Tudor confusing any more Arnie Slots. He's got enough trouble as it is being the Tottenham coach. So welcome on back. We hope you're all fantastic, safe and well. We're going to look forward. We've got a massive game. This is the game that was penciled in with us three in the WhatsApp both times. It's the derby. It's obviously Newcastle taking on Sunderland. For those fans in the chat that aren't obviously Sunderland, Newcastle, maybe the Middlesbrough fans, we talk about rivalries with Sunderland and Newcastle, and we have it, but this is actually insane how big this rivalry is and how big this derby is compared to the two teams in the two areas. Because, as I said, when Sunderland got promoted, the first thing we said was, oh my God, there's two derbies next season. I mean, we've only saw at that time, where us trio being together, we'd only seen the one in the FA Cup, and I'd gotten a little bit of a taste of it at that stage. But then we got two Premier League derbies in a year, and it does look like we're going to have more for the foreseeable future as well, with Sunderland obviously, performing well enough to stay in the Premier League as well. So it's been incredible. But lads, as I said, penciled in right in our WhatsApp group. I went back. It was in literally the 2 days after Sunderland promoted. We spoke about how good it's going to be to see two Premier League derbies. Teddy boy, on the eve of the second one, the final one for this season, just a quick summary, mate, of how you feel as a Sunderland supporter this season. I think you've got to be happy with how Regis has performed and how Sunderland have performed. Now, in the summer, it was a massive turnover. You got rid of pretty much every player that got you into the Premier League, bar a couple, and you went now and you spent big, and you brought in some absolutely incredible names that are now being linked with the likes of Real Madrid and Chelsea's and all that sort of stuff. And I don't mean to put Chelsea up there with Real Madrid, but I'm just trying to just saying with the money, because Teddy boy, it's been a fantastic season, and regardless of the result tomorrow, even though we put that on a separate platter, completely separate to the Premier League, who cares? It's a that 90 minutes we
can wear that result tomorrow is regardless.
They need a fight for those 90 minutes, mate. You must be proud as punch.
Absolutely. You know, there's been a little bit of unrest in the last couple of weeks with the form tailing off. But you know, to start the season the way we did, and yeah, you know, all right, it wasn't a classic, the first derby game, but look, listen, a win is a win, no matter how it comes. So we gratefully take it. This season is just surpassed all expectation, really. We were probably looking at this game, you know, a March game against Newcastle, thinking there's a good chance they could relegate us. Yeah, and that's honest truth. I'm not BSing you at all here.
Yep.
You're looking at that going, this could be awful.
Timing,
it could be an absolutely awful time to play them. You know, it takes on totally different meaning. I think, you know, to all intents and purposes, the pressure is actually off us a little bit with this game now. You know, we're there or thereabouts safe. We're on 40 points, but you know, the team's still picking up points below us.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we're automatically safe, but you're there or thereabouts. You know, it's as good as.
Yeah.
So we've got to go into this game tomorrow and not be overawed by the experience of it, because it would be very easy for some of these players. They're going to go into an atmosphere, and I'm not going to blow smoke up the assholes of the Geordies, but that place is an absolute cauldron when it gets going. It really is. And for something like a derby where it hasn't seen a Premier League derby in over a decade, it's going to be big. It is going to be a big occasion. And this is where you need the likes of Granit Xhaka, one of those names that you said that
exactly
that brought in.
Yeah.
He is absolutely vital for a game like this to calm everybody down, to not calm everybody down to the point where they're relaxed about going onto the pitch. They will be fired up. Yeah. Everybody in the area knows, will make these players aware, whether you're black and white or red and white, they'll tell the players what this means. Because this, for me, and I've said it time and time again, I will continue to say it, this is the biggest derby in the Premier League. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says about any of the others. This is the biggest derby. It's tribal. It surpasses anything else that's out there. So, look, immensely proud of what the lads have done. You know, I think there's work to do for next season. I think that starts with the coach as well. I think, you know, Regis Labritz is fantastic, but he needs to start and look at plan B and C. You know, things aren't going our way in the game. But he's a young coach and he's developing as well. And, you know, from what I hear behind the scenes, he is very keen to push himself even further as well, and to improve, as well as, you know, the players that he brought in. I still believe that team is still gelling, and we need to add players to it as well. Whatever happens with Robin Roofs, if he does go to Chelsea for this rumoured 50 to 60 million, well, we'll wait and see. But there's players there who are going to develop and be an important part of this football club for a long time to come.
Yep.
Massively proud of them. I just want them to go out there tomorrow and give a performance.
Yeah.
By give a performance, I don't mean try and out-football Newcastle United, because you're not going to do that on their own patch. That's not going to happen. What we've got to do tomorrow, and Steve kind of alluded to it earlier on, we've got to go and do exactly the same as what we did at Elland Road a couple of weeks ago, and just be absolutely horrible, break the play up, you know, just absolutely ruin the game. I know that's anti-football and all that sort of thing. You're not going out football this side.
Yeah,
the likes of Gordon, Alanga, all that lot. You know, these are top quality footballers. You know, don't get away from whether you're red and white and hate to admit it. It's the truth. The top quality footballers. So you've got to use what you have within the rules of the game, and just be nasty and try and break the play up and just spoil the flow of the game. That's the only way we're going to get something out of this. And, as Davies rightly pointed out, it's Waffleton. It's the awful North London derby. Yeah, Team Army, we know different, mate. We know different. But as Davies just said there, it's not just football. It's historical. It's centuries of friendly conflict. But it is. It's a tribal thing. When all's said and done, I'm going to go meet Steve on Wednesday for our little light lunch. We'll be hugging, but when it comes to tomorrow, I don't think there'll be much said between the two.
Hugs. No.
So, listen, very proud of them, very excited, very happy that we're having these derbies. I'm nervous about tomorrow. We've just got to go out there and give workmanlike performance.
Give us a prediction while you're at it, because we do have to wrap up the show, obviously, early. I need a prediction for it. He's not going to do it. Fair enough. Steve, over to you, mate.
I'm absconding.
I'm going with it. I'm going with a 3-1 win for Newcastle.
Ooh, that is a big confident prediction from you. And just to wrap it up, obviously, with that, what on Ted, obviously talking proudest punch for Sunderland, but Newcastle as a whole, Steve, obviously 8 games to go into the second derby of the season, then obviously an international break. Where Newcastle sit right now, are Newcastle fans happy, or are they disappointed, or are they a bit neutral? And I know that we put the game down tomorrow to it's a completely separate game, and it's the result on that within that 90 minutes that'll matter. But are Newcastle United fans, do you think, are they happy with how the season's gone so far, or do you think there's a sense of disappointment after crashing out from the Champions League and now looking to try and make something in the Premier League?
Look, none of us can speak for supporters. Everyone's got an opinion. For me, Newcastle United season has been one of, it's one of learning, really. It's another part of that learning curve. It's been like a roller coaster. It's been a up and down season where one week we've had an enormous high, the next week we've had a massive low. But when the season finishes in May and you can truly analyse it, the one thing you can say is that Eddie Howe and the lads got us to a semi-final of the Carabao Cup again. They got us, to the 5th round of the FA Cup, something we never used to do on a regular basis. I'm hoping to say that they'll have got us into Europe as well, and they'll have given us some great nights in the Champions League and got to the last 16. If you're calling that failure, then I'd be scratching my head why you would call it failure. It's been a huge season of change, losing our striker and not replacing him adequately, and that's something to learn from as well. But you look, Aston Villa win the Europa League, it's possible, and Liverpool win the Champions League, and both of them finish in the top 6. Newcastle will have to finish 7th, and they'll be in the Champions League again next year. It's as simple as that. So it's not a bad season, but we can only judge it when that final whistle blows at Fulham.
It's going to be a 3-1 prediction for Stevie Wraith. We wish everyone going to the game tomorrow a fantastic match day out. Sunderland fans, enjoy your view from the high end of St. James's Park.
What's your prediction, Ray?
I don't know how to predict this. I honestly think Newcastle, and as I was alluding to just before, I honestly think that Newcastle are going to go in with a sense of the shackles are off now, that the Champions League's over, the Cups runs are over, that this is it. This is 8 games to go where we need to push to have that chance to relive all of that again. And I honestly think it's really, really bad timing for Sunderland. I think it could be nasty. I'm going to go 3-0 for Newcastle. I just think the timing of Sunderland's injuries and their form combated with Newcastle dropping out, especially, and I honestly don't think that Barcelona result has done Sunderland any favours. I think it's actually created more of an emphasis on tomorrow's result being incredible, because can you imagine everyone being on Eddie Howe's back if something was to go, if there was to be a poor result tomorrow after crashing out from Barcelona, after seeing, we saw it when we were leading up to that Tottenham game and Newcastle came in and put in a performance and it got, obviously at that time, Thomas Frank sacked. Well, I think tomorrow is even more emphasis on Eddie, you need to get a result on our home deck. And it needs to be quite emphatic. So I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm going 3-0 for Newcastle. Good luck to everyone involved, and
I'll
going
stick
to
my neck out and
be
say ones each. Then I'll give you a prediction.
ones
finally.
each.
I'll go 1-1 draw. I'll say we'll
right.
sneak a draw away.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting, and lads,
More out of hope.
I wish you both all the best. I know the nerves are going to be absolutely shocking. Lads, we've got to talk quickly before we wrap things up. Middlesbrough have got the early kickoff today. We are travelling down to Ewood Park. Blackburn Rovers versus Middlesbrough. Blackburn Rovers have got Michael O'Neill, the Northern Ireland coach, as their new man in charge. Blackburn trying to get away from the relegation zone. Middlesbrough have had a bit of a dip in form. We've gone, obviously, with a poor result at home to Charlton, losing that 1-0. And I'm going to say poor result at home to Bristol City, drawing that in a 95th minute header, which made me go viral on Twitter for throwing my headset and snapping one of the arms on it. It was absolutely ridiculous. And now Middlesbrough get the chance to take the I keep using this word shackles, but we get the chance to go away from the Riverside where the foot has been poor, and we get to play, hopefully, a little bit more of this Kim Hellberg style of football. What we've seen, lads, is teams coming to the Riverside don't really want to play football, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but they are sitting back, they are defending low blocks, and they know that's what can nullify it, and then they can't hit us on the counter, and it's been working. Oxford did it, Leicester did it, Charlton did it, and Bristol City did it. When we go away from home, there's a bit of a sense that the team that we're versing at their home deck has to put on a bit of a performance. So they have to open up. Blackburn Rovers will be doing that. They're looking to take 3 points. They're at Ewood Park. They will need to play a bit more open style football to try and get some goals, which allows us to settle into that natural rhythm. But Middlesbrough will be doing it without Hayden Hackney. And I dare say maybe potentially for the next couple of games without Hayden Hackney as well, which is, I can't describe to you. This is the best player in the championship. And I'm not trying to be biased or anything. Hayden Hackney is the best midfielder in the championship by some margin as well. And you'll see him get that player achievement awarded at the end of the season. Lads, quickly, Blackburn Rovers, Ewood Park for Middlesbrough, coming off that poor draw to Bristol City, but shackles off, early kickoff. Teddy, I'll come to you.
Sorry, I'm still swallowing.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Other drinks are available. Yeah, listen, I think you're right. I think getting away from home after the disappointment of the Bristol City game is the best thing for them. Mm-hmm. I honestly, I mean, Blackburn have improved, but at the same time, I just think even without Hackney, mate, you've got too much for them. Tom posted just a little bit earlier on there, Blackburn 1, Middlesbrough 2. Yeah, I'm going to go for that as well, mate. I can see them sneaking 1, but you've got too much for them.
I hope so. Steve, over to you, mate. Early kickoff for Middlesbrough travelling down to Ewood Park.
Yeah, I can see Middlesbrough winning 2-1, and I can see Ipswich against Millwall finishing 1-1.
Oh, that's a big game for us as well. Middlesbrough fans, don't forget that was the one we need to keep an eye on to see how we come into this international break. We wish each and every one of you a fantastic derby game tomorrow. Middlesbrough fans, have a safe trip down to Ewood Park. We will be having 2 weeks of international football, so we hope all 3 Northeast teams dig in for a big shift, so they've got 2 weeks off to have a bit of a think about it. And what happens, unfortunately, is if it's a loss for your team, you've got 2 weeks to think about it. And trust me, that is not a pretty thing to do. We wish each and every one of you a safe and fantastic derby. Middlesbrough fans, again, as I said, travel safe down to Ewood Park. Enjoy your international break. We will be doing Three's a Crowd during the international break. We'll come in and we'll have a chat and we'll hopefully give you a bit of a longer show. But we do have to get Teddy on a plane and Stevie Wraith off for his beautiful beautician appointment, because the man can't even get the camera to work. He's just that good looking. See how I'm sucking up to him after the 2-door comment. Steve, good luck tomorrow with the derby, mate. Ted,
yes, man.
Have a safe flight. And thank you for joining us as always. Make sure to give a comment and like and subscribe. If you want to check out NUFC Matters, add Invictus or add Ted the Mackham, those are our social handles. You can go and give us a like and comment on anything you're feeling towards the derby. We love each and every one of you. Yeah, I didn't. He had it planned. Hit the thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining us. We are Three's a Crowd, the only Northeast football podcast on the eve of a Northeast derby, the biggest rivalry in England. I'm going to say it. It's Newcastle Sunderland tomorrow. Good luck. Goodbye for now.
Three's a Crowd podcast will return. That's not a threat. It's a promise.